Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to If Oxford. Okay, I think it's time now for me to hand over to Sarah. So settle yourselves down and get ready for story time. Over to you, Sarah.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome, old friends and new, to our journey around the world. And today we're in, just look around at the animals, India. That's right. And I'm so happy to be in India because I lived in India for a bit. Oh, and it's so nice to be back. Someone who's seen me before might see that today I'm wearing my lovely Indian beads that were given to me by the people of Nagaland, which is a place up in northeastern India where I used to live. Now, let me just introduce my friends here, because some of you might not know all these animals. But first of all, can you spot the monkeys? We've got monkeys all over the place. And we've got an Indian leopard. And we've got elephant up there. And who else have we got? Oh, we've got some lions, some crocodiles, and of course, the splendid Bengal tiger. And we've got a few other things, haven't we, from India? Anyone who was here yesterday would have seen the African drums. Well, today we've got some Indian drums, and they're rather special. You can play them at both ends. And I've got a few instruments you might not have seen before. This flute. This is called a Bansori Flute, and it's just a simple piece of bamboo. Now, shall I try and play it for you? I'm only learning, so this might not work, but let me give it a go. Let me give it a go, because it makes such a lovely noise, lovely sound when it's played well. Here we go. You can see I'm just learning. I'm running out of breath, but it's a lovely thing and it's quite simple to make. And this is another instrument you might not have seen, so I wanted to introduce it to you. It's called an Ectara, and it's just very, very simple. There's just a simple string, and this is just a thread, and you tighten it at the top, and then you just pluck it. And you play on these pieces of bamboo. Yeah. Again, I'm just learning. But we'll leave those because we've got something else we need to do, haven't we, to warm up for our stories. We've got to do our morning story stretch. So are you ready? Follow me. Stretch up high and tall as a house. Now curl up round and small as a mouse. Now pretend you are a drum and beat that tune. Tum, 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 tum. Shake those hands and stamp those feet. Don't close your eyes and go to sleep. No, because it is story time. And all that plip-plopping on my instrument has reminded me of a story. Oh, a story about a crocodile and a monkey. And our crocodile and monkey, they lived on the bank of a great river in India. And that river was called the Ganges River. So are you ready? Well, on the bank of the Ganges River, there grew a magnificent tree, which was a rose apple tree, and it stood fine and tall, its branches stretching up to the sky. And in those branches were glossy golden rose apples, glossy golden fruits. One day, a monkey came swinging through the branches as monkeys do, and he arrived at the rose apple tree. And he saw those golden fruits and he couldn't resist. He picked one. These rose apples are good. They taste so fragrant and sweet. That little monkey, he ate and he ate and he ate, only spitting out the pips. Well, it just happened that very morning, a crocodile was lazily swimming in the river. And when he felt the ploppity-plop of those pips on his back, he was very surprised and lifted up his snout and said, "Whatever's all that ploppity-plopping about?" "Hey, Crocodile!" cried Monkey. "I'm up in this tree and I found some delicious rose apples. Hey, have one!" And the little monkey threw down a rose apple. Chomp! And another. Chomp! And another. Chomp! "Oh, Monkey," said Crocodile. "Oh, Monkey, these rose apples are good. Oh, they taste fragrant and sweet. Oh, like the food of the gods. Thank you, Monkey, thank you." And that is how Crocodile and Monkey became the very best of friends. And every morning, Crocodile would swim along the river until he came to the rose apple tree, and there he'd meet his friend Monkey. And they'd sit in the sunshine, sharing their stories as friends do, and eating those delicious rose apples. And everything would have continued happy and well if our dear Monkey hadn't been quite so kind and generous. Because one day Monkey said to Crocodile, "Oh, Crocodile, I think we should send some rose apples home to your wife, Mrs. Crocodile. I'm sure she'd like them." "What a kind idea," said Crocodile. So Monkey gathered up a great armful of rose apples, and they put it on a little basket on Crocodile's back, and Crocodile swam carefully home to his wife. When he got there, he said to her, "Oh, Mrs. Crocodile, I've a present for you. Oh, try one of these rose apples." And Mrs. Crocodile, she took a rose apple. "Oh, my dear, these are delicious." "Oh, my dear, I've never tasted anything so good. They're sweet and juicy and fragrant. Where did you get them?" "Oh, my dear, I got them from the rose apple tree that grows on the banks of our river." "Oh, they are good, but my dear, how did you gather them? You can't climb a tree." "Oh, no. Oh, no. My friend Monkey picked them for you." "Your friend Monkey picked them for you?" "Oh, yes. Oh, we meet every day." Mrs. Crocodile. "So that's where you go in the morning, is it? You go to meet Monkey, and while I'm working, you're sitting eating rose apples." Mrs. Crocodile wasn't pleased. She wasn't pleased at all. And her eyes grew slitty thin, and her back grew a deeper shade of green. I think she was jealous. And she said to her husband, "Oh, my dear, if that monkey spends his day eating such sweet, fragrant fruits, oh, his flesh must taste sweet and fragrant too, and his heart His heart must taste like heaven. I want to eat his heart. Mr. Crocodile was very shocked. My dear, how can you talk like that? Monkey is like a brother to me, like a brother-in-law to you. But Mrs. Crocodile was very cross now. I don't care. I don't care one little bit. I want to eat that monkey's heart. And if you don't bring it to me, Mr. Crocodile, I shall never eat again. No, I shall never allow one morsel of food to cross my lips. Oh, my dear. Oh, don't talk like that. Mr. Crocodile, poor Mr. Crocodile, he didn't know what to do. He was very, very concerned for his wife, because you can't live without food, can you? But his friend Monkey. Still, in the end, he decided he had no choice. He would have to do as Mrs. Crocodile asked. So, one morning, Crocodile swam oh so slowly, he was very sad, along the Ganges River, until he came to the rose apple tree. And then he called out to his friend, "Hey, Monkey, my friend, I've an invitation to you. Yes, Mrs. Crocodile would like you to come for dinner with us. Please, will you accept her invitation?" Well, Monkey wasn't sure at first. I don't know, Mr. Crocodile. We monkeys don't like water. Oh, don't you worry. We live on a nice sunny island and it's very dry. And so, at last, Monkey agreed. And he climbed down the tree. And being a generous monkey, he brought a little armful of rose apples with him. And he balanced, oh, so very carefully, on Crocodile's back. There they are. Ooh, make sure he's nice and balanced. There they are. And off they swam back to Crocodile's home. But as Crocodile swished his tail in the water, his heart grew heavier and heavier. How could he do this to his friend? How could he trick dear Monkey like this? No, he'd have to tell Monkey. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And so Crocodile turned his head and said to Monkey, "Oh, Monkey, my friend, I haven't been quite honest with you. No, I haven't quite told you the truth. You see, it's not that Mrs. Crocodile, my wife, wants to dine with you tonight. No, my wife wants to dine on you tonight. She wants to eat you. She wants to eat your heart." Monkey was shocked. But monkeys are clever, very clever. And that monkey thought very quickly, and he pretended as if everything was all right. And this was quite normal. And he said to Crocodile, "Oh, Crocodile, if only you told me, that your wife wanted to eat my heart, then I'd have brought it with me." "What do you mean, Monkey? Brought your heart with you?" "Oh, yes, Crocodile, don't you know? Oh, we monkeys, oh, we love jumping and swinging in the trees. And we're such warm, good-natured creatures, we've got big hearts. So what we do is every morning we take out our hearts and we hang them on branches. Oh, but don't you worry, Mr. Crocodile. If you just turn around and take me back home, well, I'll scamper up the tree and get my heart and everything will be all right." Well, Mr. Crocodile was ever so happy that Monkey was being so reasonable about all this. And so he turned round and he swished his tail back to the bank. But when they got there, do you think that little monkey jumped off Crocodile's back and rung up the tree and took his heart off a branch? No. Monkeys don't take their hearts out in the morning and hang them on trees, do they? No. That little monkey, that clever little monkey, did jump off Crocodile's back and he did scamper up the tree. There he is. Whoop. See if he'll sit there. Is he going to stay? Ooh, gosh, I think he might swing down. Whoop. There he is. And what our little monkey did was he picked a lovely, glossy, golden rose apple. It was good. And spit out the pips. And our crocodile, he swam back with much more of a swish in his tail. I think he was happy too. And as far as I know, they all lived happily ever after. So, let me ring the story bell and we'll leave them to their rose apples. We must decide where we're going next, because we've got time for another story. Let me think. I know. I think we'll have another story by the river. Another story by the river. A story about a king. Yes. Now, before I tell you this story, you need to know that the story happened a long time ago. And a long time ago, things were very different. A lot of the things that we have today just hadn't been invented. So remember that. Okay, here we go. A long time ago, in a dry, dusty village in India, there lived a king. And that king didn't like having baths. No, he hated having baths. So he didn't have a bath. He didn't have a bath for a week. He didn't have a bath for a month. He didn't have a bath for a year. And at the end of that year, he was very, can you guess? Smelly. He was the smelliest king there has ever been. He smelt under his arms. He smelt between his toes. He smelt in his ears. He even smelt up his nose. The smelliest king in the history of the world. Well, this was bad for his courtiers. But you can't tell a king that he smells, can you? But one day, the smell got so bad that even the king could not bear to be in the same room as himself. And he said to his courtiers, "His Majesty has decided that today he will take a bath." What an event! Everyone was excited. The king opened the palace door and he walked slowly down to the river. Because in those long ago times, you didn't have running water in your home. You didn't have bathrooms. No, you took your bath in the river. Well, there was the king on the bank of the river, and there were the people all gathered around. As I said, this was a great event. The king stepped very slowly into the cool, clear water. The crowd held their breath. The king called for the royal soap. The crowd gave a cheer. The king began to scrub, and the crowd went wild. Let me see you. The king, he scrubbed under his arms, he scrubbed between his toes, he scrubbed in his ears, even scrubbed up his nose. He washed his hair and he cleaned his teeth. And then the king was all clean. And so the king, he called for the royal towel, and the royal towel was brought, and the king wrapped himself up. And then he stepped with one wet foot upon the dry, dusty bank. Now, you tell me, what happens when you put a wet foot on dry, dusty earth? Yes, that's right, it gets dirty. And the king looked down at his foot and said, oh, bother, I must have forgotten to wash it. Back into the water, scrub, 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 scrub. And then out came the other wet foot and landed on the dry, dusty bank. And what happened? Yes, that one got dirty. Oh, fiddlesticks, I can't remember to wash this one. Back in the water, scrub, 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 scrub. Out came the first one. What happened? It got dirty. And do you think the king was pleased? No. The king was furious. And the king called for his chief assistant, Garble. And he said to him, Garble, Garble, the king is clean. The king has taken his bath, but the earth is dirty. Garble, I want you to rid the earth of dust and dirt so that when the king takes his bath, his feet will remain clean. Rid the earth of dust and dirt? Oh, your majesty. Yes, Garble, rid the earth of dust and dirt, and you have 3 days to do it. 3 days, 3 days. Yes, Garble, 3 days or zoot, zoot. Yes, zoot. The sound of your head being removed from your body. Oh, your majesty. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Then Garble had an idea. I know. Why didn't I think of this? When the floor's dusty, well, I sweep it. And all the people in the land have brushes and brooms. They can help me. Oh, yes. So, are you going to join in? Will you help? With all those people. For soon they were out there with their brushes and brooms and swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. There was dust everywhere, great black clouds of it. Soon the people were coughing and spluttering, and the king leant out of a window. Do you think he was pleased? And the king called out, Garble, Garble, I told you to rid the earth of dust and dirt, not to fill the sky with it. You have 2 days or... Shh, that's right. 2 days. 2 days, thought Cobbler. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? 2 days. Oh, why didn't I think of it? Why didn't I think of it? When I swept the floor, of course I wash it. Yes, everyone in the land has a bucket or a bowl. They can help me. So you ready to help her? Okay, out with your buckets and bowls. Slosh, slosh, slosh. Soon there was water everywhere. Water up to their ankles, water up to their knees, water up to their waists. The people were swimming. And the king had to climb to the top of his topmost tower to stay dry. And when he looked down, do you think he was pleased? Garble, he said, Garble, I told you to rid the earth of dust and dirt, not to turn it into a swimming pool. Garble, you have 1 day, 1 day, or 1 day, one day, what am I going to do? I could shut the king in a room with no windows and doors. Oh, but he wouldn't like that. Oh, what? Why didn't I think of it? Why didn't I think of it? A carpet! Of course, a carpet! All the people in the land have little pieces of leather. If we stitch them all up together, we can make a great carpet, spreading right from the river to the palace and across the fields. Yes. And soon, all those people were out with their little bits of leather. They were threading needles and knotting threads. Let's help them. Stitch, 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 stitch. Until they had made a great carpet that spread right from the river to the palace and across the fields. Well, now Garble felt happy. And he knocked on the palace door, rat-tat-tat. And the king, he opened slowly. He wasn't sure what to expect after all the dust and the water. But when he saw the carpet, he smiled. And he took a step, clean. And he took another step, comfortable. And then he turned to Garble and he said, well done. And he turned to his people, well done, all of you. And everyone smiled. Everyone, except for one old man with a long grey beard. And he frowned. And he said to the king, Your Majesty, now that the earth is all covered in leather, what will the cows eat and how will the crops grow and what will we eat? The king was silent. He didn't have an answer. But the old man did. And he continued, but Your Majesty, don't you worry, because you don't need to cover the earth in leather to keep your feet clean. No, there's something much simpler. And that old man took out from his pocket a little knife. And then he bent down and he cut two shapes out of that leather. The shapes of the king's feet. And then he took two pieces of string and he tied those shapes, those pieces of leather, to the bottom of the king's feet. The king stood and he stared at his feet. What was he wearing? He'd never seen anything like it. Well, the people left him staring and rolled back the carpet. And there he was, looking down at his feet. Because he was wearing, well, what was he wearing? He was wearing sandals, wasn't he? He was wearing sandals. But this was the first pair of sandals in the whole of the history of the world. This was amazing. And the king didn't know what to expect, but he took a step, clean. And he took another step, comfortable. And then the king began to dance and he cried out, clean, comfortable, and the grass can grow. Splendid, splendid, splendid. And that, my friends, is how shoes came into the world. Yes, so you see, great things can come from not wanting a bath. Remember that if ever you don't feel like a babe. And I should say, actually, because this might interest you, that I first read that story in a lovely old book called Time for Telling, which has a collection of stories from all around the world. So something that might interest you. But I won't say more about that because we've got a couple more minutes And I've got one other little thing to share with you. So let me just quickly ring the story bell and then we will go there. Send our shoes away. There they go. Okay. Because there is something else I think about. When I was in India, I didn't see any Bengal tigers, I'm very sorry to say. I did see some elephants, but I saw even more mice. I saw lots of mice. So I thought we could end with a little song that I'm sure you all know, and I think probably many, many people know all around the world. And it's Hickory, Dickory, Dock. So I want you to help me. Can we get those clocks, those pendulums going? Tick, tock, tick, tock. Let me hear you. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1. The mouse ran down. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 2. The mouse went boo. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 3. The mouse went woo. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. That mouse ran up the clock. There he goes. The clock struck 4. The mouse said, no more. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Well, shall we say goodbye to little mouse now? And I think it's probably time to say goodbye to India, because we've got to get home, haven't we? And we've only got one morning to get there. So, what I suggest we do is tomorrow, we're not going to have a poll today, because as I say, we've got to get right back to where we started. But, you know, on a long journey, you often stop off at this country or that country or another country. So if there's a country that you wanted to visit and we haven't got there yet, then don't worry, because we might get there. We might, I'm hopeful, tomorrow. So I'm going to ring the story bell one more time, and then I'm going to pass you over to Kathy. Pack your bags. We've got a long journey tomorrow. There we go. Send those stories into the world. Woo. Off they go. Bye-bye then. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sarah. What a fabulous collection of stories and songs we've had today, and we've still got one day to go. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. Bye.
Bye-bye.